Hi friends, it's Queen Alita, and I'm back today with a prophetic message. This one's based on a dream that I had yesterday, February 19th, 2023. So I just want to welcome you back to the channel, and also if this is your first time, welcome to the channel. Quick disclaimer, not every prophetic message is meant for everybody, so just because you're watching the video or listening doesn't mean that the word is for you. Make sure that you just ask God for confirmation, take it back to Him. He's going to speak to you very clearly if the word is for you or if it's not for you. It's so important that you have your own relationship with Him and that you're able to hear from Him, and that you're not relying on me or anyone else to constantly give you messages from the Lord. And I know that for some of you, this message will be confirmation of what God has already been speaking to you about. So if you do have any questions, just make sure that you take those questions to Him so He can answer them for you, as well as He continues to minister to you about this particular subject. So, like I said, this dream was on February 19th. In this dream, I was with somebody that I hadn't spoken to in a while. In the dream, we had reconnected, and it felt like we were in the same place, but also not. So I remember there being text messages between us, and I remember just thinking to myself, just really happy and excited that, we had reconnected. It had been so long. And in the dream, I remember as we were conversating, reconnecting and catching up, and I just remember the other person just being completely different to what they had been, to the way that I knew them to be. It was the same person, but they were so different, just so different. And a lot more confident, more sure of themselves. It just felt like such a good interaction that we were having, and it felt the person themselves, the energy that they were bringing, felt really good and positive. And in the dream, I remember thinking to myself, I must ask how they overcame the obstacles that had gotten in the way of them being fully and truly who they are, of them being able to be free to reconnect with me and all of that. And the dream ended while I was thinking about that in the dream. So it was a very, very short and sweet dream. I just woke up really feeling like, wow, this is one of those dreams that I will put in my restoration dreams category. I've had a lot of dreams about restoration for a long time now. I would say about a year, maybe more. I would just keep having restoration dreams every now and then. And I know that a lot of you have lost things and people along the way, not necessarily to death, but God either removing them from your life for whatever reason. And this word really is for those of you that know that God has removed certain people from your life, but there was a promise of there being a reconnection, a restoration of that relationship. But the separation had to happen because of your own refinement, because of that person or those people, their own refinement. For some of you, it'll be more than one person that God is going to restore back into your life. For some of you, it could just be one. You know what God has promised you. And really, the main message that came to mind, or at least that the Lord dropped in my heart, really has to do with faith. I got the sense that whoever this word is for, you have had to really believe and stand for something that seemed impossible. Whatever those relationships were, they were really close and dear to your heart. And the people that you were in relationship with had certain struggles, they had certain barriers, obstacles, just things that they need to overcome or needed to overcome, and they needed to do that without you there. And also, you've had some barriers, some obstacles, some things that you needed to overcome. The Lord needed to refine you as well as He was refining the other people, the other person, and you've had to trust and believe God for a reconnecting. I just get the word that really resonates strong is a reconnection, especially with people or a person that God has said, this relationship will come to fruition again. You will be restored in this relationship. So because of your faith, because of your obedience to the Lord, I get a sense that whoever this word is for, the Lord asked you to have faith in the restoration of this particular relationship. And of course, he gives us a choice. He gives us free will. So you could have said no. You just want to move on with your life. You're not interested. But you chose to say, okay, Lord, I will have faith for this to be restored. Do whatever it is that you need to do with the person, with the people. I trust you, and so forth. So because you have taken that stance, because you have chosen to be obedient and trust God for what he has promised you that he will restore, and also that you have been willing to go with God's plan of just waiting on God to do what he needed to do in their life or their lives, and in your life as well. So it is because of your faith. The scripture that came strongly was is Hebrews 11 verse 1, which is, well, I don't have it in front of me, but I know it off by heart. It's, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Okay, I hope I'm not paraphrasing too much, but you trusted even though you could not see, even though this person or these people were not in your vicinity. In the dream, like I said, it felt like I was physically with them, but also not, because we were talking via text, not exactly talking to each other in person, but it felt like we're in the same place. So you have had to stand in faith, your faith, not knowing, not seeing seeing it come to pass, but knowing that it will, and therefore the Lord is rewarding you. Remember, he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him, right? Those who display a good measure of faith. He is rewarding you with what he said he would do. So trust in God. Know that in the perfect time, these relationships will be restored. At the time that you had to part, I know that with some of you, it was so hard because you didn't really understand why. You didn't see the reasons for the parting, but because of the time that has lapsed, God has shown you, and you've understood, and you've been on board with his plan, and he's just letting you know that everything is on track and he will restore. There will be a reconnection. All is not lost. He's restoring everything that was taken from you. And in this particular message, he's really mostly talking about relationships, the relationships that you lost. Of course, there's some relationships that you had to let go of, and that is permanent. So do not confuse the two. If the Lord has promised you restoration or reconnection, stand on that promise. But if he asked you to walk away from certain relationships, and he did not promise a reconnection or restoration, this word does not apply to those situations, okay? Just to clarify that. But that is the word for today. I really pray that it has encouraged whoever it is meant for. And I'll see you in the next video. Always remember that God is a good Father. He loves you so much because you, my friend, are so deeply special to him.